There are encounters that defy explanation. They transcend time, touch the very soul, and gently disrupt what seems so perfectly ordered. You are not sent here by chance. The angels whisper that your name was inscribed in the heavens long before your paths ever crossed. This connection pulsating within you, intense, inexplicable, at times even painful, serves a purpose far greater than you can currently understand. His presence in your life is no accident. It is a sacred calling. You were placed in his path as a beacon in the darkest night, as a healing balm, unseen yet deeply felt. He, with his hidden wounds, encountered your light and found himself disarmed by such profound truth. The angels say, you were chosen to be a mirror, not a burden. To remind him that love still exists, and it takes form. You awaken within him echoes of what is pure, of what is divine, of what was long forgotten. This man, so confused, so heavily guarded, has been experiencing an internal earthquake since your gaze met his. Because you do not enter silently. You awaken. And awakening sometimes brings a sacred ache. Perhaps you have not yet fully realized it, but what you carry is extraordinary. It is presence. It is healing. It is a prayer walking on earth. Your mission is not to force him to love. It is simply to exist in your truth. And this in itself is already transforming everything. The angels are subtly rearranging his plans, without his conscious awareness. They are clearing the dusty windows of his heart so that one day he may clearly see who you truly are. Do not demand answers now, nor immediate reciprocity. His process unfolds more slowly, more subtly. But it is happening. For where true light resides, darkness cannot linger long. And even if everything still seems veiled, trust, there is a divine blueprint. And you are an integral part of the miracle he does not yet comprehend. Before I formed you in the womb I knew you, and before you were born I consecrated you. Jeremiah 1 verse 5. Every journey that begins in divine silence is, in truth, a higher calling. A calling not heard with ears, but felt on the skin, within the very body, in memories whose origins remain unknown. You felt it. It was not imagination. It was as if the universe whispered, "Pay attention." And without knowing why, you began to notice signs. Small, almost imperceptible, yet profoundly real. There were too many coincidences to be mere chance. This person who crossed your path, with restrained gestures, fragmented words, eyes that speak more than any mouth, did not seem to fill your emptiness, but to activate ancient memories your soul already carried. There is something within him that draws you inward. It is not neediness, nor dependence. It is recognition. The angels say, you have known him before. And he knows you too, even as he struggles against it. This recognition arrives unannounced. Sometimes, without gentleness. It comes like an avalanche. It disrupts everything you thought you knew about love. Because this is not about ordinary romance. It is about destiny. And destinies often clash before they embrace. You are not called to be his safe harbor, not yet. You are called to be the storm that awakens, the light that reveals, the hand that does not press, but guides. And this, dear soul, demands strength. A strength only the chosen ones possess. And you were chosen, not by him, but by something far greater. By something that knew, among countless souls, that only yours would have the courage to remain whole, even while loving someone who still does not know if he loves. Do not rush time. Time, too, is learning to navigate this love. And while it learns, the heavens work. Behind the scenes, angels move what is invisible to the eye. They touch his heart in silence. They show him your image when he tries to flee. And they whisper your name in the dreams he cannot comprehend. Have you noticed his hesitation when he's around you? How his eyes seem to drift off into the distance, searching for words that never come. This isn't indifference, it's confusion. Not the confusion of someone who feels nothing, but of someone who feels too much and doesn't know where to put it all. The angels say, his heart was made for love, but he was never taught to trust. And so he retreats. He hides. He seems absent, even while he craves closeness. He grew up learning that love is a threat. That opening up means getting hurt. That those who love end up losing. But then you came along and brought a new story. Yet he's still unsure if he can embrace it. You are a presence that touches without hurting. A gaze that embraces without demanding anything in return. And that disarms him. But before he can surrender, he must face what he hides, even from himself. This is why the angels ask for your patience. Not the kind of patience that waits for something, but the sort that understands the value of what she feels. This story isn't about quick conclusions. It's about deep healing. You stand before a man in the process of rebuilding. And the light you carry is revealing cracks he never wanted to acknowledge. This hurts, but it also liberates. Even if he doesn't say it yet, he feels it. He senses that you are different. That your presence holds something akin to home. To truth. To a future. He feels that with you he could rest. He could be himself, without masks, without fear. But the fear, it's still too powerful. The angels are with him now. They surround his mind, breaking down old beliefs. They whisper courage into his ear. They are preparing the way for a new beginning. And in the meantime, you need to do nothing. Just keep being yourself. Because it is precisely this, your essence, that is making him question, allow, and draw closer. And there will come a day, not marked on any calendar, but recorded in the heavens, when he will stop running. And on that day, he will look at you with the eyes of someone who has finally understood, you are not a threat. You are the answer. There is a silent moment that only the soul can perceive, that moment when love begins to manifest in the care of one's own being. It is at this point in the journey that the angels gently touch your shoulder and say, now it is for you. You do not need to break yourself to fit into his world. You do not need to diminish yourself to accommodate his insecurities. True love never demands the sacrifice of your own light. The angels want you to hear this with your heart. Your spiritual mission is not to abandon yourself for him. It is to remain whole within yourself while the other finds his own path. You can love without losing yourself. And you can wait without extinguishing your own flame. Perhaps you have spent sleepless nights trying to understand his silences. Maybe you have wondered what you did wrong for him to pull away. But what you feel is not rejection. It is a reflection of his internal chaos. The love you offer is so complete it can be frightening. And when someone has spent a lifetime surviving on halves, wholeness can seem dangerous. Therefore today, the heavens ask something sacred of you. Turn inward. Look tenderly at the woman you are. Who feels, who waits, who struggles, who believes. Who, even when weary, remains whole. Care for yourself as you care for him in thought. Nourish your soul with kindness. Surround yourself with everything that brings you well-being. Be your own constant presence. Because deep down, what you desire from this love is not salvation. It is recognition. You wish to be seen, honored, chosen, not out of need, but out of worthiness. And this worthiness begins now, when you choose to prioritize yourself. The angels say, while you care for yourself, he heals. Because everything is connected. Your light illuminates his hidden corners, even from a distance. But your light must remain lit. Do not extinguish yourself trying to be a lighthouse. You can guide and, at the same time, protect yourself. This love was not given to consume you, but to reveal you. And the deepest revelation is this: you are already complete. What comes from another is a blessing, not a necessity. You can love with surrender, but without renunciation. You can wait, without forgetting to live. And it is in this sacred balance that miracles unfold. There is something within him that recognizes you even before your eyes meet. It's as if you activate an ancient code inside him. A mirror, perhaps, one that doesn't distort, but reveals. Since you appeared, he has known no peace. Not because you demand it, but because your presence brings everything to the surface. The wounded child he hides. The man he wishes to be. The traumas he would rather forget. And most importantly, the love he never learned how to live. You are the reflection of the parts of him that have not yet healed. And this unsettles him. Because loving you is not comfortable, it is transformative. The angels say, you compel him to look. To look at the shadows, at the emotional vices, at the patterns that hold him captive. You need not say a word. Your light speaks for you. This is why he hesitates. To love someone like you requires courage. Courage to leave the surface and dive deep. Courage to admit that his whole life he has fled from the truth. But there is something in you that forbids escape. Your gaze. Your calm. Your steadfastness even in pain. All of this breaks down the walls he spent years building. You have become a mirror. Not one that flatters the ego, but one that reveals the soul. And he sees you there. And he sees himself too. This is why he sometimes pulls away. Because facing you is facing himself. It is admitting that true love comes not with guarantees, but with depth. And depth frightens. But the angels are whispering to him, night after night, that there is nothing to fear. That you do not wish to take him away from himself. You wish to help him return home. To his heart. To his essence. And even if he still fights against it, something within him is already yielding. For no soul forgets a mirror that reveals it with love. You are not here to fix him. You are here to remind him of who he is, beyond the fear. And he, even without words, has begun to realize, there is healing in your gaze. There is forgiveness in your touch. And there is truth in your presence. You are the turning point. He just hasn't understood how to handle it yet. Something silent began to stir within him. Perhaps you don't see it clearly. Perhaps his gestures still seem the same. But there's a detail in his eyes that wasn't there before. A longer pause between words, a different breath when your name is spoken. It is the beginning of awakening. The angels say, the heart that was dormant has begun to listen. To listen to memories he didn't know he had. To listen to desires he suppressed for so long. To listen to the name of love in your voice. This doesn't mean everything has changed yet. But it does mean something has been touched. And once touched, it cannot return to slumber. Has he been quieter lately? More thoughtful? It's because he is listening to what he never dared to feel. Your presence has become a living prayer within him. He realizes he misses you even before you are truly apart. He feels jealousy without wanting to control. He wants to know about you without knowing what to ask. It is new. And new is frightening. But he is awakening. And what awakens within the chest cannot be forgotten. You, with your calm light, with your way of existing without demands, are teaching him what love without prisons feels like. And this, for someone who lived surrounded by emotional contracts, is revolutionary. Do not expect grand gestures. Not yet. Awakening begins small, like a seed breaking through the earth from within. But it is real. The angels show this with clarity, each time he thinks of you before sleep, each time he dreams of what he hasn't lived, each time he smiles alone remembering a detail of yours. His heart is reprogramming itself. You are the code, the password, the key. And he, though confused, has already begun to type. He does not know what he will find on the other side, but he feels it is safe, that it is right, that it is yours. The angels continue to touch his soul, and each touch, though invisible, is another certainty that you did not pass through his life in vain. The love you planted is germinating, and it will blossom. Have you ever felt like you were just going in circles with him? Like everything was about to start, and then suddenly, you were back at the beginning? This cycle has a name. It has roots. It has a reason. The angels say, his fear is not of you. It is of what you represent. Because loving you requires presence, truth, surrender. And for someone who learned to hide, this is almost unbearable. So he leaves, and comes back. He draws near, and then fades away. He smiles, and then goes quiet. It's the motion of someone who longs for something but can't grasp it. And you, with your whole heart, try to understand. You try not to blame yourself. You try not to get hurt. But there are days when everything feels too heavy. Know this with all your soul. This ebb and flow has nothing to do with your worth. It's about his own ghosts. He learned to love in fear, to expect abandonment, to distrust peace. And when he met you, all of this was put in jeopardy. Because you don't bring drama. You bring truth. And truth can be frightening. But even with all his resistance, he keeps coming back. Because there's something in you that calls to him, that soothes and unsettles him at the same time, that makes him want to run, and to stay. The angels are closely watching this cycle. They see no fault in you. They see surrender, pure love. And that's why they continue to strengthen your heart. They whisper, you are not stuck in a loop. You are helping a heart heal in its own time. It's hard, I know. But each of his returns is an attempt, imperfect yes, to get closer to what he still doesn't know how to maintain. You are a lesson for him. And lessons require patience. This doesn't mean accepting anything less than you deserve. It means understanding that some healings don't occur at the pace we wish for. And even in this exhausting cycle, there is movement. There is growth. There are seeds being nourished. Love, when genuine, finds its way even in the maze. And the angels assure you, there will come a time when he will no longer run away. Because he will realize that the peace you offer is exactly what he has been searching for while on the run. There are healings that don't come from medicine. They come from presence, from shared silence, from eyes that say, I see you without needing words. You have been that healing for him. The angels say, your love doesn't shout. It whispers, and still it heals. Because what touches deeply isn't noise. It's truth. And your truth has reached him in a way no one else ever could. You arrived without promising anything. And yet, you gave everything. You gave affection through small gestures. You provided comfort even on days when you were absent. You offered forgiveness even when your heart was aching. And this, for someone who learned to doubt everything, is a miracle. He may not have said it yet, but he feels it. He senses that there's something different about you. He feels that even in your silences, there is presence. That even when you step back, there is love. And this confuses him, but it also comforts him. Because you do not demand. You do not charge. You do not imprison. You love with freedom. And the love that liberates is what heals most profoundly. Because it doesn't need to control. It simply trusts. You have been a balm for the wounds he never dared to show. You have been relief for pains he couldn't even name. And yet, even while healing, you also bleed. Because loving someone in process also means navigating internal deserts. But the angels are with you, touching your soul on nights when you cry in secret, strengthening your faith on days when his silence hurts more than any word. They remind you, you were not called to save, but to love with wholeness. And this love, so complete, so strong, so yours, is working miracles in silence. He will awaken one day and realize that the lightness he feels bears your name, that the peace that arrived slowly came from your hands, that the love that healed him was yours. Because love, when true, heals even from afar. And your love, my dear soul, has already begun to do just that. Commit your way to the Lord, trust in him, and he will act. Psalm 37 verse 5. Not every silence means absence. Sometimes it's fear. Fear of feeling too intensely. Fear of losing oneself in what finally makes sense. He wants to love, but he doesn't know how. The angels say, there's a knot in his chest that was tied in childhood and never untangled. A knot of insecurities, of abandonment, of words that have hurt him. And it is with this knot that he tries to love you. You sense his hesitation in the little things. In the interrupted touch. In the gaze that lingers for just a half-second longer. In the almost gesture of affection he can't quite sustain. This isn't a lack of love. It's an excess of protection. Because for him, love is a risk. It's peeling away the armor that has kept him safe for years. It's revealing himself without any guarantees. And that still terrifies him. Have you noticed? When you come close, he breathes deeper. When you talk about the future, he switches the topic. When you pull away, he comes back. It's as if his heart says stay, while his mind screams run. And in the midst of this internal battle, you stand. With your pure love. With your desire to build something together. With your presence that heals just by being there. And even if he doesn't say it, he knows. He knows you are different. That you don't want to trap him. That you simply wish to walk side by side. But for someone used to running, even walking can feel like a prison. That's why he needs time. Time to realize that you don't want to break down his defenses, you want to embrace his broken pieces. Time to understand that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's a bridge. And you? You need to remember that it's not your responsibility to save him. Only to love him as fully as you can, even if that for now also means protecting yourself. The angels are watching over both of you. They're whispering courage into his heart and hope into yours. They know that love exists within you both. Real love. Love with roots. And when he finally accepts that he no longer needs to fight, he will discover that loving you is exactly what he needed to return to himself. Not everything that is true needs to be understood right away. Love sometimes requires more surrender than comprehension. And now, it's time to accept. Accept that not every love starts out fully formed. That not every answer comes quickly. There are beauties in waiting indeed, but primarily, there is strength in remaining present. You did what you could. You were there, you were light, you were a seed. And now, dear soul, it's time to trust the harvest, even if signs of it have yet to appear. The angels say, the love that is truly yours does not get lost. It returns. It may come through different paths. It may come in ways you never imagined. But if it is true, it returns. Perhaps he still needs to lose himself a little more to truly find himself. Perhaps he needs to go through disconnections until he realizes that you are always the point of peace. And that's okay. Because love isn't about controlling time. It's about keeping your heart open, even in the face of silence. You are not weak for feeling so much. You are strong for continuing to love with lightness, even when everything feels heavy. And now is the most sacred part of the journey, the surrender, the trust, the letting go without closing the door. The angels are by your side, tending to your heart, touching your soul with the same delicacy with which you touched his. They whisper, you are not being left. You are being protected. Protected from what is not yet ready. Protected from half-hearted new beginnings. And while he walks toward his own healing, you walk toward yourself. Because the right love, when the time is right, will not fear. It will not hesitate. It will not run away. It will recognize your light. It will honor your waiting. And it will find you whole, not because you stopped for him, but because you never stopped moving forward for yourself. For everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1.